Is this 2025 second best phone of the year or number one? Stay tuned. This is Julian with Juleon Tech Reviews, and we're here with my 1 week review of the Samsung S25 Ultra. And I'm going to tell you all about it. But before we get into it, if you can please like, subscribe to this channel, we appreciate everyone's support. We made it over 1,000 subscribers, guys, but we need more and more and continued support on this channel. We greatly appreciate it and all your support. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So I recently got the Galaxy S25 Ultra. I had my unboxing, which you can find in my videos and you can do in the title card, as you can see here. And let's just say at first I was afraid. I was petrified because I thought the S25 was only a slight upgrade from the S24 Ultra. But my first week review has been eye-opening and I am blown away with what I received. But with every video, we're just going to talk about what kind of specs you're expecting when you get the S25 Ultra. So let's go ahead and start. So this came out in January in 2022, and the retail price on this, which nobody really pays attention to, is $1,400.99, $1,499.99, $1,419.99. But I traded in my S24 Ultra, and there was a $250 gift card you can get if you pre-ordered and whatever, $50 extra. Otherwise, I only paid about $399 plus tax, depending on your taxes. But this phone comes in 7 colors, and there's 3 exclusive Samsung colors, but I'll pick Jet Black, which is not exclusive, but currently on the website. It's going to take a while for you to get this color, but there's a few that you can get as soon as February 13th. So just keep that in mind. So let's talk about the body. So this is sporting a 168 by 77 by 8.2 millimeter or 6.4 inches by 3 and by 0.32 inches. And it weighs about 218 grams. And it has a glass front, Corning Gorilla Glass Armor 2. It has a glass back, and then it has a titanium frame. So it makes it incredibly light. It does have a nano SIM, which we already talked about with the OnePlus, and I'll get to it in a little bit more detail. And it comes with an IP68 dust tight and water resistant, so it's immersible from up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. It has a stylus support, so you got the stylus. And we're looking at a display of a dynamic LTPO AMOLED 2 times 120 hertz refresh rate. It has a HDR 10 plus. It has 2600 nits of peak brightness. And the resolution is 1440 by 3120 pixels. So it basically a 19 by 5 by 9 ratio or 498 PPI. And it has an always on display, as you can see right now. Haven't tapped or anything, but always on displays here. And this one is a 512 gigabyte, 12 gigabyte RAM storage. It goes all the way up to 1 terabyte and 16 gigs of RAM. So Samsung has entered into that situation, but you can only get the 16 gigs of RAM with the 1 terabyte version. So just keep that in mind. So the cameras. So we have a quad camera setup. We have 200 megapixel wide angle camera, a 10 megapixel telephoto, a 50 megapixel periscope telephoto, a 50 megapixel ultra wide, and we do have laser autofocus, best face, LED, auto HDR, panorama, and we can shoot up to 8K at 30 frames per second. So keep that in mind. We also on the front have a 12 megapixel wide angle camera, selfie camera, supports HDR 10 plus, 4K, 60 frames per second video. So pretty nice, I would say. And also we have a Bluetooth 5.4. We have all the bells and whistles with the positioning system of GPS, GLONASS, BDS, Galileo. It does have NFC support. And then some of the cool features, obviously we have the AI features that are, exclusively with this. So Google Gemini, you got the fingerprint sensor, which is ultrasonic. And then you have the gyro, proximity, compass, barometer, It comes with Samsung DeX plug-in or wireless, and has the ultra wideband support, circle search. The battery is a lithium ion 5000 milliamp battery, charging wired up to 45 watts, which basically is 30 minutes. You get 67%, which is not bad. 15 watts wireless on the Qi 2. So then we got 4.5 reverse wireless charge if you're into that. So as I mentioned before, I have the jet black, and this is my first week. And the first thing we're going to talk about is, I guess, my expectations of the phone. So as I mentioned before, I didn't expect much of a big upgrade from the S24 Ultra, and to each its own. In my opinion, this phone is almost like the perfected version, what they envisioned, a long time ago, when they decided to come up with the S series or the Note series, whatever. So last year's model was more, cornered, and it had more sharpness on the edges, but the fact that they rounded it off and made it square still and made it flat, I mean, just take a look at it. It's beautiful to watch. And when I initially opened it, I wasn't as impressed, but as I started using it and seeing how the chipset, which is the new chipset, the Snapdragon Elite. So when I started using the phone, and the Snapdragon 8 Elite chip makes this phone much smoother, and I think it called for like a really nice upgrade from the S24 Ultra. And yeah, I'm not putting on to say like, all these phones are nice and whatever, but this year I think the chipset, the Snapdragon 8 Elite on the Samsung S25 Ultra and on, the OnePlus, I mean, it's just a powerful, smooth, I mean, everything is great. And then it's also supporting, the Android 15 or the One UI 7 version. So there's a lot of smoothness, and there's a lot of support that is not on the S24 Ultra, even though they're going to eventually receive it, but it's going to be on another chip. So just my expectations versus what I got, I feel like I got way more than I expected. And I really considered, dumping my OnePlus and just going full on. And then it makes me very excited about the the new foldable phone that's coming out this year. But I mean, this is definitely masterful artwork by Samsung, and I give them kudos. But another thing I want to talk about is just my typical setup. So I just wanted to show you my setup. I know it's kind of familiar in the past. It's not a huge difference, but one of the first things I do is go to the display, because I want to utilize every bit of that display. So I go to the motion smoothness. I make sure it's on adaptive, not anything slow. I also make sure the screen mode is on vivid. I don't mess with the color arrays here, because I trust their colors. And then I change the resolution to the highest, which is QHD plus. So there's that. I also make sure that I change the navigation bar to swipe gestures. I turn on the circle to search. It does have touch sensitivity, so if you wear gloves or use some drips of water on here, I think it still will give you that. And then also just double check to make sure I have the latest software. So I go and check here, and lo and behold, it's really nice update feature. And then the next thing we're going to talk about is battery life. So I have the S24 Ultra, and the battery lives are pretty much similar. But one thing I've noticed is that when I use this one, it feels like the battery life is a little bit longer. Maybe because it's a new phone, and last year's model is maybe taking a dip because of the new software updates and whatnot. But I feel like it's a small improvement in battery life, the day-to-day life. It takes a while for it to charge. It takes like 30 minutes to get to 65% from 0 to 100. And I really don't like that about Samsung, and they're not in the new wave of getting, fast charging like my OnePlus 13 here. I have no problems with getting fast charging and great battery life. So I'm just waiting on Samsung to do that. So that's another thing I noticed about the battery life being good. Now, also, I really do like the new messaging display that One UI uses. Every time I get all of my messages, and let me tap in there. As you can see, a lot of those notification icons are there in this beautiful arrangement, and I really do like it. And it is definitely, in my opinion, some of the best software, you know, for Android out there. And even saying that it's better than Google, it's kind of like, you know, blasphemous, because Google is kind of like the father of Android. But I mean, you just can't, you know, deny their existence, and the fact that Samsung is not new to this, they are true to this. So I've had an excellent software experience. Now, I played a couple of games. Like recently, I've been playing Asphalt. And one thing I noticed is that even the gameplay, you know, it feels a little bit more liquid. I mean, this phone is smooth in every, you know, sense, you know, of the imagination. So when I initially set up, you know, my games up here, I was expecting some kind of lag because maybe, you know, software hasn't been tested all the way. But I mean, the graphics on this is great. And the fact that you have this, you know, 6.9 inch, you know, display, the real estate is, you know, unreal. I mean, just take a look at the graphics. I mean, this is highly immersed gaming. Now, some say it's a little expensive to, you know, get to this. And in my opinion, I think it is, because you got competitors out there that are charging for cheaper and you're getting way more, in my opinion. But I mean, you cannot deny the excellence in Samsung. And then another key feature, while I'm gaming, I can be gaming in the sun. I literally have two giant, you know, lights that are on this video. And as you can see, there's no degradation of the light blinding me or anything, because this screen has this liquid, you know, stable glass. I mean, there's no glare on the screen. So Samsung started this kind of like last year with the S25 Ultra with that just amazing screen. But I mean, this is just beautiful. And you know, I don't know what else to say, guys. Let me know if you have the S25 Ultra, are you considering it? But just after the week, I mean, this is by far like one of my best experiences with Samsung. I'm not quite ready to just get into the Samsung and leave my OnePlus, because the price point is so much better on the OnePlus, and it just makes no sense for me to trade in a S25 Ultra sometimes, or it makes sense to you, but I don't think Samsung's phones should be costing anywhere close to $1,500, especially when you have, you know, excellent competition out there. So that's just something and then the iPhone is not even there. So that's my only, you know, hesitancy to get this phone and keep it long term, because they just keep improving so much and then the price. But you know, that's just my opinion. But in my opinion, I think that if you're considering getting S25 Ultra and you have like a 5-year-old Samsung, or you know, this phone is for you. This is a nice upgrade from there. But if you have the S25 Ultra, it's probably better for you to keep it. It's not worth the extra $400 in my opinion. But if I had, you know, unlimited amounts of money, I would definitely upgrade and get this S25 Ultra. I would get, if I have an iPhone, I would get the S25 Ultra. I mean, just to try it out, because I'm telling you, you're gonna be overwhelmed with the graphics, with just the widget placements, the snappiness of that Snapdragon 8 Elite. You know, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell me what your thoughts about your experience with the S25 Ultra. My experience is excellent, but it's my opinion and it's not yours. So you let me know what you think. And thank you for subscribing to the Juleon Tech Reviews. All right, peace.